A man isn't a murderer because he kills somebody. A man kills somebody because he's a murderer. We're going to talk about the condition of being a sinner next in the Forge. Hello, and welcome once again to the Forge. I'm Randy. We're welcome and glad to see you come in. Today we're going to be talking about the condition of being a sinner. I'm going to be reading to you from the book of Romans today, one of those great writings of Paul. And we're going to be in chapter 3. If for those of you who want to make notes or whatever, follow along, we're going to be verses 10 through 26. And it says that it is written that there is none righteous, no, not one. There is none who understands. There is none who seeks after God. They have all turned aside. They have together become unprofitable. There is none who does good. No, not one. Their throat is an open tomb. With their tongues they practice deceit. The poison of asps is in their lips, whose mouth is full of cursing and bitterness. Their feet are swift to shed blood. Destruction and misery are their ways, and the way of peace they have not known. There is no fear of God before their eyes. Now we know that whatever the law says, it says to those who are under the law, that every mouth may be stopped, and all the world may become guilty before God. Therefore, by the deeds of the law, no flesh will be justified in his sight. For by the law is the knowledge of sin. But now the righteousness of God apart from the law is revealed, being witnessed by the law and the prophets, even the righteousness of God through faith in Jesus Christ, to all and on all who believe. For there is no difference. All have sinned and fall short of the glory of God, being freely justified by his grace through the redemption that is in Jesus Christ, whom God sent forth as a propitiation by his blood through faith, to demonstrate his righteousness, because in his forbearance God had passed over the sins that were previously committed, to demonstrate at the present time his righteousness, that he might be the just and the justifier of the one who has faith in Jesus. Now, boy, that's a scripture. We realize that we are all in a condition of sin. And this scripture tells us today that no flesh is justified by the law. The law was given to Moses and was codified in the 5 books of Moses. And we, if you're a Christian or a Jew, you're familiar with this. And these are conditions and ordinances, observances that we practice or fail to practice, as the case may be. And the Bible tells us that just a ritualistic performing of these things is not going to save you from your sin. What saves you from your sin is faith. So for the Jews, it was faith that by doing these things, God was making a way for them. It wasn't in the doing, it was in the faith of the fact that God was making a way because they were doing. Okay? And for us, it says that the law is the knowledge of sin, basically informing us that it is precisely by this law and our failure to keep it all that we realize that we are sinners. We sin because we are sinners. We have that condition upon us. It's something that is unfortunately inescapable for us. Because we are in that situation, because we are born in sin and we fail to be obedient to the dictates of God. God has made a way to fix the situation. When Adam and Eve first sinned in the garden, that sin corrupted not only them and future generations that followed, but it also corrupted everything that we know of. See, everything that we know about our earth, our existence, is post-curse. We don't know what Eden was like or what the garden in Eden was like before the damage had been done. The damage was done by sin. So all the problems that we face in our world are a direct result of that sin. And God is redeeming far more than just you and I. Matter of fact, we find that Jesus told the religious elite of his day, when they told him to have his people be quiet, he said, if I were to tell them to be quiet, if they were to be quiet, the rocks and stones themselves would begin to cry out. That's an indication that there's far more going on, because he's not just fixing the problems with man and man's sinful state. He's fixing the problems with all of creation. All of his work is being redeemed. There will be new men who will be born again. There will also be a new heavens and a new earth. All of this stuff is in process. For us, it seems like it's, well, at least taken at least several thousand years so far. For God, God's outside of time altogether. It's already happened. And so we have to have faith and put our full confidence that God knows what he's doing. He created all that is, and he knows how to fix it. And to us, it may seem we're trapped in what we call the dimensionality of time. We're subject to it, slave to it. God isn't. And one day, we will no longer be either. But God is justifying man not because of what man does, but because we believe in what he did when he entered his creation, when he submitted unto death. See, when Adam and Eve sinned, they committed the first act of religion by trying to cover their mistake. They realized that they were naked. They sewed fig leaves together, the scripture says. Religion is man's attempt to cover himself, to fix his own problems, rather than relying upon God. That's religion. Relationship says that I trust that God has this handled and that God's going to fix it because I can't. See, I would submit to you that man, we know that Adam knew that the things had been broken. They realized that they were naked. They didn't know how they broke it. They knew the act that broke it was disobedience. But how did that disobedience break something? That is yet a mystery that we have yet to fully wrap our heads around. We don't know how that happened. But the thing is that God gave man dominion in this world. And when we exercised our dominion in place of God's authority, when we placed our own authority, our own decisions above God's, we broke it. We messed it up. And God, in his love for us, has said, it's okay. I love you so much. I'm going to fix it. And so from the very get-go, God has set out now to let us know, I'm on the job. I'm not leaving you alone. I've got this handled, but I need you to trust me. And so that's where we are. So my question is to you today, do you trust him enough to know that even though we're a sinner, so we have no right to judge anybody else in their actions because we're all sinners. And God makes no distinction between sin. It doesn't matter that if you told a little lie or if you literally killed somebody. To God, you're still a sinner. There's no distinction. There's no grade there. So nobody has the right to look at anybody as if they're somehow better or worse. If you're holier than thou, we're all in a state of messed up, period. Some of us are messed up in different ways, and we try to segregate ourselves. Well, he's not messed up like me. Doesn't matter. We're all messed up. And when we stop trying to live within those walls that we try to create. When we stop trying to be religious and stop trying to fix our own problems, create our own boundaries, and do all, then we'll start to actually see the kingdom on earth as it is in heaven. We'll begin to look at people with different eyes. Not that your problem might be different than mine, but that you have a problem, and maybe I can help you with your problem. I can help you walk through your problem. I can help you carry your burden, not condemn you because of it, not hate you because of it, not throw stones at you because of it. That's not my job. My job is not the one to execute wrath. My job is not the one to execute judgment. God is. God is the only righteous judge. And God one day says he will pour out his wrath upon a sinful world. But he's not going to pour out his wrath upon that sinful state of man if that man is standing in the righteousness of Christ. So you can escape that wrath through Jesus Christ. So something for you to think about today. If you don't understand that, do your own homework. Dig yourself into the scripture this morning. Get yourself right with Christ. Put your faith in him and what he's doing. Know that he's got this handled. And that's the starting point. So if you want to get in the race, you got to know where to start. The starting gun is first putting your trust and your faith and your confidence in Jesus Christ. Keep coming back to the Forge, please. Keep joining us here. If we're blessing you in any way, please help us like and subscribe. Hit the bell and be reminded of every time we upload new content. We're going to be uploading things that you can help purchase. We're going to be establishing a Patreon. There's a lot of things coming, so please, help us out, support us, and we're going to see you again in the Forge. Have a great day.